Good morning, students. I, Tanuja Kiran from Usha Martin World School, welcome you all in our class 11th Physical Education. Hope you all are safe at home. Students, today we are going to discuss about concept of inclusion, its need and implementation. Now, students, first, meaning of inclusion. What is inclusion? Inclusion means that students with disabilities participated in all activities equally with other students. Students with disability learn the same curriculum content with the same lesson objectives in the same space with the same assessment as all other students. I hope you all understood very well the meaning of inclusion, students. Now, concept of inclusion. The term inclusion is used in the field of education. That is why it is called as inclusive education. In fact, it is an approach to educate both normal and students with disability or with special educational needs together. Inclusive education means normal students and special needs students learn while sharing the same physical space and interacting socially and academically. It can be stated that in this education, differently abled children are educated with normal children within the same roof. It brings all students together in one classroom and community. Inclusive education is students with special needs spend most of their time with non-special needs students. Inclusion completely rejects the use of specific school or classroom to separate students with disability from students without disabilities. Now, students, needs of inclusive education. Now, inclusive education provides perfect training of real life. All students with or without disability learn to interact and work collectively. Indeed, in India, there is a dire need as well as importance of inclusive education. The needs and importance of inclusive education are stated below. Now, student, first we will discuss about for self-esteem. Self-esteem means for self-esteems and individuals of their own worth. Each and every individual has self-esteem. Generally, it may be seen that differently able individuals are less strong. Research studies conducted in this field indicate that after inclusion in a regular school, the students with disability have shown improvements in self-confidence. They display equalities of self-efficacy. They develop confidence in their ability to interact with one another and the society in which they live. Now, second is for better social skills and communication. Inclusive education provides ample opportunities to have better social relations among students with disabilities and without disabilities. As a matter of fact, social skills are learned properly through observation and imitation. Students with disability get a better understanding of the world around them. They feel exhilarate about being a part of the regular community. A number of case studies show that children with autism demonstrate change in their social behavior while being with other students without disabilities. Their communication skills are improved a lot. Now, third point is greater sensitivity. Now, students, greater sensitivity, it means emotions. It is usually observed that students without disabilities become more sensitive by learning along with students with special needs. They understand how words can hurt. They practice patience and learn empathy. Now, fourth is for better understanding of strength and weakness. Students with or without special needs in inclusive schools learn that each and every individual has strength as well as weakness. They learn to appreciate these differences. Now, fifth is for better sense of belongingness. Now, students, here is belongingness means the state or feeling of belonging to a particular group. Okay, inclusive education is essential for having a better sense of belongingness among students with and without special needs. It teaches the value of another human being, no matter what that person looks or sound like. Students with special needs enjoy the feeling of belongingness, being loved, having relationship and friendships with students without special needs. Students without special needs also show increased awareness of tolerance and better understanding of other students with special needs. Now, our sixth point is higher academic achievement. Inclusive education is beneficial for the students with special needs because research studies conducted in this field show that these students have done academically well than in exclusive education. Now, students, implementation of inclusive education in India. In India, the number of children, persons with disabilities or special needs is really large. They have a number of problems in getting education, especially inclusive education. Now, it is important that inclusive education is implemented in India so that the benefits are enjoyed by all individuals. We know that there were many great scientists like Thomas Alva Edison, Albert Einstein, and Graham Bell who had learning disabilities. Considering the benefits that we could derive by educating children with special needs, along with children without disability, in inclusive education, Government of India should propose pointers that can build a strong as well as effective education system in the country. Government of India should emphasize on the following measures for effective implementation of inclusive education. The first point is the right to education is to be made effective in all states so that every child receives education and through inclusion. Addressing children with special needs is also taken care of. Second point is teachers, especially in rural area, are to be trained well so they are occupied with the required knowledge of teach children with special needs. In an inclusive system of education, workshops to be conducted to keep them abreast of the recent developments in inclusive education. Third is regular analysis of schools, curriculum, and amenities are to be done to develop a support team to give access to the regular curriculum method to children with difficulties in learning. This is possible with a flexible approach whereby teachers and students are able to rectify the problems that they face during the teaching learning process. Now, fourth point is parents should be taken as a resource and be involved in decision making process to enhance their child's learning. They are to be made partners in the education so that a collaborate effort would result in effective inclusive education. Now, fifth is for proper implementation of inclusive education in school, the differently able students should be treated equally as normal students. In fact, the differently able students should not be looked at sympathetically. They should be recognized by their talents, capabilities, and abilities. Now, six is to enroll children with special needs in regular schools requires a lot of adjustment in terms of classroom, transport facility, and educational materials. Materials should be provided based on the needs of the students so that they are able to learn along with their regular peers. These include books, stationery, assistive devices, audio textbooks, or braille textbooks, etc. Now, seventh is a suitable examination system and periodic evaluations of children with special needs to be in place to meet the challenges and changing trends in special education. Curriculum experts should carefully design programs so that curriculum is made parallel for all the children with or without special needs in inclusive education. Our eighth point is sincere efforts should be made to develop good relations between families of students with disabilities and without disabilities. In this way, both types of students, that is, with or without disability, will also develop good relations among themselves. It will be helpful in creating an appropriate environment for implementing inclusive education. Now, ninth is for proper implementation of inclusive education, students related materials like uniform, books, stationery, transport allowance, stipend for girls, boarding and lodging facilities, therapeutic services, teaching and learning materials, assistive devices, etc., should be provided to students with special needs by the schools. 10th point is inclusive education should be flexible. The flexibility in this field should be reflected in the teaching methods and materials provided to the students with disabilities. And the last point is a school should form a support team to develop strategies for the whole school to meet the requirements of students with special educational needs. Now, students, in inclusion, it can be said that the government as well as the school teachers should lay due stress on the above mentioned measures for effective implementation of inclusive education. I hope you all understood very well about inclusion.